Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime Talk with Mel. If you're new here, welcome. I talk about murder, mysteries, and everything under the true crime sun. So today we will be talking about 5-year-old Summer Wells. I wasn't originally going to cover this case just because there's already so much content on this case on YouTube, but honestly, it has completely run amok on YouTube. There are so many conspiracy theories just going all over the place with this case. I personally feel like we need to dial that in, focus on the facts and the statements. A lot of the stuff that is being said or passed around on social media is literally he said, she said, or I heard from them that they saw type of stuff, and that is not helping find Summer. Trust me, I get it. I want Summer to be found just as much as everyone else, but I think that it can very easily get out of control, which it has definitely done here. I think this case bothers me so much because it feels like it could be easily solved, but the people who were with her that day are very shady and have changed their stories about what happened that day numerous times. So let's start at the beginning. Summer Moon Utah Wells was born on February 4th, 2016 to Candace Bly Wells and Don Wells of Rogersville, Tennessee. Candace and Don have kids from previous relationships, but right now we're going to focus on just the family that Candace and Don have together. So Summer had 3 older brothers, and she was the only girl. Summer was 5 years old at the time she went missing, and she's described as rambunctious, funny, full of life, and loved to be outside. In many of the pictures and videos of her, she's outside swinging on her favorite tree swing, playing in the dirt, or playing with her puppies. A lot of people have commented that she was always dirty and pointed to signs of neglect, but let's remember, she was a country girl and a tomboy, and that is very common in this lifestyle. Now, when it comes to her parents, Candace and Don, there's a very complex history of alcohol and drug use, DV, and SA. They are no stranger to legal problems and have had their share of issues with the law. Their past plays a part in her disappearance for numerous reasons, and I will get into that later. So, now I'm going to talk about the timeline on June 15th, 2021, the day that Summer went missing. Some of the details are a little bit hard to nail down because depending on the 3 people that were with her that day, the times and order of events are different. Summer's grandmother is also named Candace, so she is referred to as Grandis, meaning Grandmother Candace. The other person who was with him that day is a 15-year-old minor, so we refer to him as H. So early in the morning, Grandis complains that her knee is hurting her and it is inflamed, so Candace takes her to the hospital to get checked out in Kingsport, which is approximately 15-20 minutes from the house. Candace lets the older boys stay home and play games or watch TV. At that time, they were 12, 11, and 9. At some point, H calls or texts Candace asking her to pick him up from his grandmother's house because they weren't getting along. So Candace, Summer, and H go pick up Grandis from the hospital, and they head to Walgreens to drop off their prescription. Candace says since the prescription was going to take a little bit, they decided to take Summer swimming at Warriors Path swimming hole, which was right down the road. Candace takes a video of Summer swimming, and H is also seen in the video, and she posts it on TikTok. Candace states that they were only there 20 minutes and then went back to Walgreens to pick up the prescription. They also made a few stops at the Hippie House for vapes, Sonic to get slushies, and the grocery store to grab a few things, including milk. They drop H off at home, then go back home to Ben Hill Road, which takes about 20 minutes. There's also the last video/picture of Summer was taken on the way home, the one where she's sleeping on the milk. The time discrepancies are all over the place that day, but they couldn't have gotten home any later than 3:30, according to store surveillance, phone calls from Don, and all of their accounts from that day. Summer isn't reported missing until 6:30 p.m., which leaves roughly 2 to 3 hours unaccounted for. In the interview with Candace, she tells what happened when they got home.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay, and I walked her all the way over to the porch, and I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer, I'll be back. And within 2 minutes I came back, and I asked the boys where their sister was, and they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual because usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
So the flowers, groceries, and her going into play couldn't have taken that long. Yet according to Grandis, she took a nap after they got back home. But Candace doesn't say anything about that. The real question we need to ask is, what happened in those 2 to 3 hours? According to Candace and Grandis, both of them and the boys started searching for her and yelling her name all around the property. Now, the property that has been searched is very rough and rugged terrain, which I will show you some pictures of to get an idea. Don Wells got there around 6:45 to 7 p.m. and immediately went to the shed on the edge of the property, which I find strange. In almost every interview, Don Wells says that he believes she was taken by a man.
Personally, I think someone come up here and grabbed her and ran down the hill.
I think so
and
too.
Threw her in a car and drove as far away as they could.
Both Candace and Don believe that Summer was abducted from either their basement or the yard. Yet immediately after Candace finds Summer gone, she lets her young boys go look for her, even though in her head there was a predator out there. There was supposedly a red Toyota seen around the property around the time Summer went missing, and a neighbor reported they heard a scream around that time, but there is no proof of that either. The TBI and the FBI have both been working on this case since then, but absolutely nothing has been found of Summer Wells. So, here we go into the possible theories. If you Google Summer Wells, or if you go on YouTube and type in Summer Wells, you will fall down a rabbit hole of possible scenarios in this case. It has gotten very out of control very fast. I want to focus on what I believe are the most likely scenarios. Scenario number 1. Something happened to Summer that day involving either Candace or the boys, and they needed to cover it up. I find it very odd that when looking at photos and videos of Summer playing in her house and in her yard, they do not normally keep that close of tabs on her. Yet you want to tell me that on the day she went missing, there were 5 other people there. And according to Candace, she walked her maybe 20 feet from Grandma's camper to the house, and within 4 or 5 minutes, she goes missing? I find that very hard to believe. Now, I'm a mother of a 7-year-old, and I like to think that I keep pretty close tabs on my kid. I don't let her go outside without knowing where she is or knowing that there's another adult out there to supervise. But even then, I wouldn't be so cautious to worry about her walking 20 feet to the inside of her own home, where according to Candace, all doors were locked and nobody could come in or out. I believe it's possible that the boys could have been in charge of keeping an eye on her, and maybe something happened and the parents decided to cover it up. I also think it's possible in those 2 to 3 hours that there's a discrepancy. Maybe Candace and Grandis took some of her pain meds and passed out and they don't know what happened. I also believe that an abduction is very well a possible theory, but the only reason why I question that is the behavior of the parents. And the only other theory that I believe is possible is one that I very, very much hope is not the case. and that is that she was either sex trafficked or it was some sort of deal gone wrong. Now, I have probably gone over dozens of theories in my head about this case, and just a few days ago, when I was doing research, it occurred to me that not only do the parents have drug and alcohol abuse issues, but Don Wells was reportedly seen trying to sell his oldest son by a family member years back. Either they arranged someone to come and take her, or maybe this person was supposed to take her and bring her back, but something happened and they didn't bring her back. Now, the only reason why I think that this could be a possibility is because they seem to know exactly how she left the house, yet they shouldn't have a reason to know that. It's almost as if they know exactly who has her, but they can't tell us. And what would be a reason for why they would know, but they can't talk? Because if they admit that they know who had her and the reason they had her, they would get in trouble. I feel like this theory makes the most sense because it accounts for the vehicle seen on the property, the fact that Don and Candace both believe she was taken by a man, and also their suspicious activity and behavior that day and onward, which means that their worry for her and not knowing where she is actually could be genuine. Now, I desperately hope that I'm wrong, and I pray that Summer is found safe and well, but we all know the odds in these types of cases. I feel like either there are things that police are not able to tell us because there's an ongoing investigation or something like that. I just feel like there should be surveillance camera footage, a digital footprint of who called and when, and I just feel like there has to be more. Both Don and Candace have done very few interviews and have not been very forthcoming, and when they do, it sounds like they just keep repeating the same script over and over. Literally the same words. The same words. On July 29th, Candace confirmed that her sons had been in the custody of the Department of CPS since the previous week, and I believe they are still in CPS custody. On October 30th, Don Wells was arrested for a DUI and is serving 180 days in the Hawkins County Jail. I believe he got sentenced in, I want to say February, so I think he's supposed to be out in a few months. It is now over a year since 5-year-old Summer Wells has been seen, and I feel like there are more questions than answers. I desperately hope that I can come to you guys with an update soon, and I hope that if she is still alive out there, that she's safe and being taken care of. Summer's case hurts my heart because I look at photos and videos of her with her blonde hair and blue eyes, and all I can see is my own daughter. And I really hope that these parents haven't done anything awful to her. Now, I try really hard in my videos to focus on facts, evidence, and interviews, but it's hard not to get emotionally involved in this. I hope that if someone knows something, they will finally talk and the family can get closure, and if she has passed, they can put Summer to rest. This was a tough one for me, guys. I feel like this video could have been hours long, and I might eventually get a little bit more in depth at a later date. And of course, if there are any updates on this case, I will post them. But sometimes it's hard, and it takes a toll when you're dealing with such sad cases, especially children's cases. So what do you think? If you take out all of the other stuff, all of the other theories, and all the other, well, this guy was seen that day, like, I honestly don't think it's that crazy. I think that the answers are right in front of us, and we just need to focus on that. I want to know what your thoughts are and what your theory is. I just, honestly, I think about Summer every day, and I've thought about her pretty much every day since the day she went missing. And I feel like there are those cases that just, they stick with you. Well, that is it for my video today, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe. Peace out.